Alright, what's up, everybody? Back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're recapping the two game fours from yesterday, the Celtics and Sixers, Nuggets and Suns. Some pretty good games. Very excited to analyze and talk about these two games. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. We appreciate it. If you like the content, you want to consider subscribing, like, turn notifications. I noticed only 1% of you guys that watch these videos are actually subscribed. So if you're watching, hit the subscribe. It's just a click of a button. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the first game for yesterday, Celtics Sixers. What an amazing game this was. And the Sixers came out really hot. Honestly, James Harden really showed up in this game, which is really big. I said earlier that for the 76ers to win and to have any chance of coming back and winning this series, James Harden needs to be aggressive James Harden. The assists are cool and stuff, but he needs to be aggressive, especially with Joel Embiid not 100%. And the Sixers came out early. James Harden was hitting shots. Tobias and Tyrese Maxey were getting involved. Joel was getting involved. Sixers were really locked in, but so were the Celtics. Celtics were hitting shots. Sixers led by 8 at the end of the first. Jaylen Brown came out with 12 points early. He's been really, really good at scoring this entire playoffs, honestly. When we get to the second quarter, the Sixers have a good second quarter hitting shots, but the Celtics are still keeping them in there. I felt like the Sixers should have been up by a lot more, but the Celtics kept hitting shots. The Celtics just look kind of like going back to what's been happening the last few games before the last two. Just no intensity. Just going up there, not really intensity, just pulling up for threes, turning the ball over, not getting back, just looking like lazy. No fight in them or anything. The Sixers were taking advantage of that. Their three ball was really going down. They were led by 9 at the end of the first half after they led by 16 with a minute and a half left. But then the Celtics score a couple baskets at the end to keep it close. Go to the third quarter. And it's very back and forth. Third quarter, James Harden is in shots. Jason Tatum scored just 1 field goal in the first half. He had 2 points in the first half. Really needed to respond. He really showed up in the second half on both ends. Yeah, the Sixers, again, led by 16 with 4:41 left in the third after Joel Embiid hit 2 free throws. Made a 16-point game, and the Sixers hit some shots at the end of the quarter. 9-point game. But then we go to the fourth quarter, and the Celtics come alive. Started by the defense. Robert Williams and Jason Tatum were playing amazing defense. And the Celtics just come back. The Sixers just kind of look lost. Joel Embiid was being put in a torture chamber by Al Horford. James Harden wasn't hitting. Guys like Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey were missing shots. And the Celtics come all the way back, tie the game at 5:25 after Jason Tatum hit a layup, and then Al Horford dunked and shimmied a little bit after he dunked to make it a 2-point lead. Tatum was all over this game. Even if he wasn't scoring, he was rebounding, finding his teammates, blocking shots. He was doing amazing things. And Joel Embiid just was in jail, basically. Al Horford was just playing some incredible defense on Joel Embiid. And James Harden and them were trying to give him the ball, but eventually James Harden was like, all right, take the shots. And so he had a couple back-to-back big floaters. And then PJ Tucker had a big and one with a minute left. And he went up to Embiid after the and one and was like, hey, man. Kind of gave him a little pep talk, screaming in his ear. And he did that the entire game. PJ Tucker really brought a lot of energy. Marcus Smart hit 2 free throws, and James Harden comes down and hits a floater with 16 seconds left. And then at the last possession, Marcus Smart gets a pretty solid open look from 3. Can't knock it down, and we go into overtime. First overtime game in a while. There hasn't been that many overtime games in these playoffs so far. And it's very back and forth. Overtime, big call. A charge call on Joel Embiid in this game after they were down by 1. That was very, very, back and forth. Celtics missing threes. Sixers get fouled. Joel is trying. He finally gets 2 free throws. Jason Tatum hit a tough step back 3 that maybe should have been an offensive foul. He did push off with the arm on Tyrese Maxey. Hit the 3-pointer with 38 seconds left. We come down. And then Joel Embiid getting literally double, triple teamed. James Harden is just standing wide open in the corner because the play Harden passed it off to Joel, and everyone kind of looked at Joel because everyone knew Joel was trying to get the ball and take the shot. The Sixers were feeding Joel in overtime. James Harden gets a wide open corner 3. He knocks down. He was amazing this entire game. And then the big discussion is the last play of the game where Jason Tatum has 6 seconds left. The Celtics don't really call a timeout. Tatum drives to the paint, and instead of taking the layup, he finds Marcus Smart on the wing. And the pass was a little off, so Smart had to kind of relocate, and he couldn't get the shot off in time. He made it, but it just was not in time, and the Sixers escape and don't blow game 4. They win 116-115 and tie the game. Now, we watched the last play a lot of time. I literally sat there for like 5 minutes rewatching the play, and I don't think it's as bad as people think it is. I feel like if Tatum was gonna make the pass, I think he should have made it like a few seconds later. Because you look, he didn't really recognize that Smart was open. Because if you look at it, Tatum drove, and literally everyone in the Sixers went to Tatum. No one even looked at Al Horford in the corner, Derek White in the wing, Marcus Smart. Everyone looked at Tatum, and everyone closed in on Tatum, and we're like, we're gonna defend this layup and trying to make him pass it out, kind of. And Tatum, I think, recognized that like a little bit too early. I think he recognized it at like 1.9. It passed it at like 1.5, and at that point, like 1.5 seconds, you can't really pass the ball from like the paint all the way out to the opposite wing. Like, that's a very hard pass to make, and not a pass that you could just float over unless you're like an elite level passer. So he just if he recognizes it, I think maybe point 0.3, point 0.4 seconds earlier, then Celtics might have a 3-1 series lead. But he didn't recognize it, I feel like, quick enough. But also, I wanted him to take that shot. I think he would have taken that shot. If you look at the play, you can rewatch it. When he comes over, like with 1.9 seconds, there's like a layup there. Joel is there, and he's a defensive monster in the paint. But all he had to do was either throw it up off the glass high, because Joel can't jump crazy high, like throw it off a high floater off the glass, or maybe put the game in the officials' hands and force them maybe to call a foul. Yeah, I think one of those two options would have been best. I would have loved Tatum to take that shot right there, and I'm very surprised that he didn't take that shot right there. He kind of made the right basketball play, because if you look at the play, I mean, he had options. He could have dumped it off to Horford. He could have passed it off to Smart or Derek White. There was like 3 options open, but he chose pass it out to Smart. He just did it too late. It was just not much time left. There was like 2 or 3 seconds left. Then that's the great play. But it was just, he took too long. The play took too long, and ultimately doesn't happen. And the Sixers escape with a win. Both teams shoot pretty well from the field. Both teams shot around the same from the field and from 3. Celtics made 4 more threes. Turnovers. The Sixers forced 10 Celtic turnovers in this game. James Harden. This is the James Harden that the 76ers need the rest of the playoffs. If they want to do anything and win, James Harden's got to be this James Harden. I'm not saying he has to put up 40 a game, but he needs to be aggressive. 42, 8 and 9, 16 for 23, 6 for 9 from 3. Just a beautiful James Harden in the game. That might have been like Harden's biggest moment of his career, playoff career right there. Hitting that shot, having this game. Joel, 34 and 13. Didn't have a great game. Even though he did have 34, he took 12 free throws, but Al Horford did an amazing job as he could. And then Tyrese Maxey, 14 points. But he struggled from the field again, 6 for 17. Tobias struggled as well, 3 for 10, but he made a lot of hustle plays, and then PJ Tucker as well. And Jordan Dane hit a couple of threes in this game that were big. The Celtics, Tatum, 24, 18, and 6 with 4 blocks. He shot 9 for 20. He had a really good game despite struggling to shoot. Jalen had 23, 3, and 5. I need Jalen Brown to be a lot more aggressive. Jalen Brown always comes out the game hot, and then the fourth quarter, he just kind of like stands on the wing and lets Tatum and Smart do all the work. I would love Jalen Brown to actually be aggressive in the fourth quarter, because he's been scoring amazing. I don't think he's had really an off game yet in the playoffs so far, scoring-wise and shooting-wise. So I don't understand why he's not getting the ball late in the game and trying to, like, there was one play, I think in overtime, where he had a nice, like, he would cut out a pull-up mid-range, but he said he pump faked and passed it off. I was like, Jalen, that's like, you take that shot all the time. Why didn't you take that shot? Very weird. Smart, 21, 3, and 7. He took 15 shots. Was 4 for 10 from 3. Just couldn't knock down the big ones. Brogdon had a good game off the bench, 19-8. He had 5 3-pointers. But Celtics just need to get locked back in. There's a lot of points. Celtics didn't really lock in until the last, like, the final quarter and overtime. And at that point, I mean, they almost could have won this game, but just some late. They just got to be better late game. Like last game, game 3, Jason Tatum closed the game out. But this entire playoffs and really a lot of the season, they haven't really been great late game situationing. And that could be Joe Mazzulla not calling that timeout late and wanting to let the players play. But they just need to be better and more locked in throughout the entirety of the game, so it doesn't have to come down to a down 16, we got to come back situation. But for the Sixers, really, they just need James Harden to keep playing like this. James Harden continues to be aggressive and not passing up open layups and passing up floaters. Sixers can win this series. And now we're 2-2 going back to Boston. A huge, huge Game 5 on Tuesday that I'm going to be watching every second of, because this series has been very entertaining to me. And then the other Game 4 we're going to talk about, Suns Nuggets game 4. Nuggets up 2-1. Huge must win for Phoenix. And this is another good game. Both teams start off pretty good. KD and Book start off hot for the Suns, bringing in energy. But for the Nuggets, Murray hitting shots, Nikola Jokic doing his thing. Very close. First quarter and that end of the first quarter play with Booker load up to Durant. That was big as well. Go to the second quarter. We had the whole Jokic, Matt Ishba incident. That was just very weird. Honestly, I don't know I'm not going to talk about that much, but very weird. But the Suns bench was bringing energy. The stats weren't there, but guys like TJ Warren, Jack Landale bringing energy for the Nuggets. Jokic and Murray. Really, Jokic. Jokic was on fire. And it was a 2-point game at halftime. Suns lead. You go to the third quarter, and Jokic is just dominating, really. Jokic is dominating, but for the Suns, man, Devin Booker. That dude has been insane. He's probably been the best player in the playoffs. Like, he's just been on another level getting buckets. It's crazy, but Jokic, was matching him. The Nuggets actually shot really well from the field as well in the third quarter, but the Suns still led by 4. You go to the fourth quarter, and it really was the Jokic and Murray show for the Denver. Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon really hitting shots. KCP, the bench wasn't really doing much. And for the Suns, the whole thing, this entire playoffs was no one is stepping up besides the 2 guys. And Landry Shamet was the one that chose to take the step, hitting 4 huge 3-pointers in the fourth quarter that were just big time. I mean, they were doubling KD and Book every time they touched the ball. The Nuggets were kind of like, all right, go ahead. Landry Shamet beat us. And Landry Shamet beat them, honestly. And the Nuggets just missed a lot of shots. Michael Porter Jr. took a really bad 3-pointer with 2 minutes left, down 5 that I didn't like. Jokic was really just bullying and dominating whenever he wanted to. Really came to that, and then they had a turnover late. Jokic tried to get, to the rim and lost the ball, and then the jump ball. And the Suns won the jump ball, made free throws. Ultimately, they ended up winning the game. They win 129-124. And tie series at 2. Very impressed by the Suns win because I thought it was not going to be sustainable. Last game, they literally needed Devin Booker and Kevin Durant to drop 86. And the Nuggets need to have a horrible 3-point shooting game for them to win. And in this game, it took Booker and Durant both to drop 36. It took the Nuggets role players to mess up. But also, Landry Shamet. Huge shots at him. He showed up. Both teams shot very well from the field. Suns shot 57%. Nuggets were 50%, but the 3-pointers. Suns almost doubled the amount of threes the Nuggets made, which is insane. Suns were 13 for 29. Nuggets were 7 for 22 from the floor, from 3-point range. Devin Booker, 36, 6, and 12 assists. Shot 14 for 18, 3 for 4 from 3. I mean, he's just been on another world entire playoffs. KD had a really good game as well, 36, 11, and 6. 11 for 19 for the field, got to the free throw line a lot. Finally had an efficient game. The Landry Shamet, 19 off the bench, hit 5 3-pointers. I mean, that's huge. DeAndre Ayton had a little bit more. This game, Jack Landale, I really love he was bringing a lot of energy in this game that the Suns really needed on both ends. For the Nuggets, I mean, Nikola Jokic couldn't really have played much better. 53, 4, and 11 is an insane stat line. On 20 for 30 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, and they lost. That's insane. Jamal Murray, 28, 5, and 7. He was in shots late. But yeah, Michael Porter Jr., 4 for 13, 2 for 9 from 3. Aaron Gordon was 5 for 10. KCP, 5 for 7, but he didn't make a 3-pointer. Bruce Brown had 5. Christian Brown had a free throw. Jeff Green. They just needed more from their role players, honestly. Michael Porter Jr. hits like 1 or 2 more shots, and KCP hits another 3. The Suns win this game. But just Michael Porter Jr. couldn't make shots late. KCP was missing shots. Aaron Gordon was trying, but he fouled out. He had 5 fouls in this game. And the Suns had Landry Shamet step up, and that ultimately was the difference in this game. Now it's a 2-2 series, go back to Denver. And just, Suns needed this. Now the question is this going to keep happening? Is Landry Shamet going to keep shooting the ball like this? It's going to be tough, but the Suns need someone else. Now they need Cameron Payne or DeAndre Ayton to have a big game. Because they know all they need is one. They don't need any crazy. They just need one person besides KD and Devin Booker to make shots, and they can win games. Like they shown in the last 2 games. All they need is just one dude to show up with them, and they can win. And for the Nuggets, they need their role players to start stepping up and hitting more shots. They need Michael Porter Jr. to start hitting shots. They need KCP to hit shots. They need those guys to hit shots like they have been all year. If they do that, they can be fine, especially Jokic and Murray being on a great level, scoring the ball and playing offensively. But both these teams kind of the same. They just need their role players to step up. Whenever role players are going to step up more and do more, are going to win this series. It's 2-2, going back to Denver. I still think Denver's going to win this series, but Phoenix is making it a lot more interesting. And the Nuggets are making it interesting by their role players not stepping up like they were early That's the entire playoffs. Yeah, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you like the content, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, all stuff like that. Really appreciate it. Really helps out a lot. And I will see you guys tomorrow.